You don't believe in God. You think religion is foolish. And yet, you're glad to live in a culturally Christian society. And you like the beauty that Christianity has brought into the world. Well, isn't that convenient? What's up, everybody? It's your boy Cedric with Actual Christianity, and today I want to talk about Richard Dawkins' admission that he is glad to live in a culturally Christian society.
I do think that we are culturally a Christian country. I call myself a cultural Christian. I'm not a believer, but there's a distinction between being a believing Christian and being a cultural Christian. And so, I love hymns and Christmas carols, and I sort of feel at home in the Christian ethos. I feel that we are a Christian country in that sense.
Especially considering there are societies out there that are not culturally Christian.
Count myself a cultural Christian. I think it wouldn't matter if we substituted any alternative religion. That would be truly dreadful.
He's glad that he's not in an Islamic society, okay? That he's glad to be a cultural Christian. He's glad to be in a society that's culturally Christian, and that any other religious society would be dreadful. And it's like, that's convenient.
Yeah.
Wow, I wonder why. And so I've been thinking about this quite a bit, and I'm just going to say it, like God really put this on my heart, especially this morning, to just kind of say this. Atheists are ultimately children who got in the boat, got overseas, and now that their feet are on solid ground, they think they never needed the boat. Okay? That's basically a analogy for modern day atheism, particularly the older, wiser atheists. We've got a number of people who are self-admitted atheists, and they will say that it's good that religious belief is kind of dwindling, that Christian belief is kind of dwindling, and yet at the same time they'll say that they want to stay in a culturally Christian society. They don't want to be in an Islamic one. They don't want to be in, some other society that has a religious foundation to it. And so, I mean, guys, you have to think about this for a second. The truth is, being an atheist, having a morally relativistic perspective. Your ideas of morals, you think, kind of came just from society. That is only partially true. That's only partially true. You have taken for granted so much of religious history. You assume that these ideas of being selfless, self-sacrificial, these ideas of being faithful to spouses, these ideas of just treating people kindly and doing nice to them will simply persist in a completely skeptical society, and that's not real. I can assure you right now, that is not real. With Dawkins saying that, I'm going to miss, I would sorely miss the cathedrals and the beautiful churches and all that sort of stuff, and I'm happy that Christianity is kind of going away. Sir, do you think those buildings will stay? No, you need Christians to build those buildings. They believe, they therefore built those buildings. Again, you want to live in a Christian society, and you think it's good that Christianity is dwindling. I hate to break it to you, but that society that you like will not survive post-Christianity. It will not. What's essentially happening right now, before our very eyes, is this. Religious belief is dwindling, but a new religious belief is growing as a result of that. Wokeness is replacing Western Judeo-Christian ideas. Many atheists have this idea that their moral principles that they have today, that society has today, will remain intact after religious belief. That is not true. It's simply not true. There are people who will pursue purpose regardless of what they believe in. They will pursue those purposes. And so now we have a society in which people think it's best for you to lose your job, to lose your livelihood, because you essentially misgendered them or you disagree with them. Because you have independent thoughts, you are basically problematic and in some way should be removed from society. I mean, think about that. My friends, my atheist friends, a day is coming where you will long miss that the most annoying people in your lives were religious people that were offering to either pray for you, invite you to church, or share what they believed in the Bible. Because what's going to be replaced by that is not going to be pretty. It's simply not. If people think this way now, if people think that you should lose your job now, what do you think the world is going to look like in a post-Christian future?
And I even have a question for that too. Like, wokeness can even be so extreme that it would even go against personal atheistic views of an individual and what they have.
Yeah, like the notion of the individual is basically being destroyed. Forget about individualism. We're in an increasingly collectivist type of society now. It's like LGBTQ. If you're not with them, you're basically against them. Guys, there's a reason why you're able to openly mock Christianity. Think about this for a second. Richard Dawkins wants to live in a Christian society because he can mock Christians. Because he can freely do those things. Jesus said this. He said, "But I say to you, love your enemies and pray for them that persecute you." Guys, there is a reason why Christianity is the low-hanging fruit of religious mockery in the world. It's because Christ himself allows it. And if you cannot see the relationship between Christ being on the cross, being mocked, versus Christians now being mocked, and us allowing it to happen, then I can't help you. Because one religious belief says that you should pray for them, you should love them regardless, right? The other main one says that you should taste the sword. The other one says that you should no longer live as a result of mocking their prophet. Y'all know what I'm talking about. And so you need to understand, I am by no means saying that you must be a Christian, otherwise you're an enemy. Like, no, not at all. But guys, you can afford atheism in a Christian society.
Yeah.
That's what I'm telling you. You can afford your atheism in a Christian society. And while you continue to try and drag the Christianity down, you have no clue what's going to be left in its wake. You're not going to like it. You are not going to like it. So you can say what you want about Christians. You can say how stupid we are. You can say how religion is essentially a crutch for weak-willed, weak-minded people. You can say all those things, but I promise you, you are going to wish you lived in a society in which there were weak-minded, weak-willed Christian people. You're going to miss that. Y'all keep pushing, but you are definitely going to miss that. I assure you.
It's truth that statistically the number of people who actually believe in Christianity is going down, and I'm happy with that. But I would not be happy if, for example, we lost all our cathedrals and our beautiful parish churches.
There are going to be atheists that watch this video, okay? There's going to be plenty of atheists that watch this video who think themselves so wise, so beyond the simple, meager understanding of us mere religious goofballs, right? Many of them will think that they know better for society. Many of them, especially the young ones. But there's this trend now where older atheists are starting to look back and say, well, this religion thing isn't as bad as we said it was. My dear friends, if you are an atheist or an agnostic watching this video, it's really important for you to understand something, okay? In the Western world, a lot of the things you enjoy in the Western world are specifically a result of people having those Christian worldviews in the past. It's really important to understand this. Like, you really need to understand the importance in regards to Christianity's influence on the Western world. It's really important to comprehend this. I mean, a quick example would be something along the lines of like hospitals. Christians didn't invent hospitals. Make no mistake. I'm not saying that's what happened. Christians didn't invent hospitals. Hospitals have existed long before antiquity. But what didn't really exist was a public hospital. That is to say, a place where anyone could come and get treatment. The notion that anybody in the world is welcome to come to a place to get respite, to get healing, to recover from what ails them. That is super Christian in origin. It's very Christian in origin. And so I want you guys to consider this. Or the notion of a sanctuary. Like there are a lot of, even in politics, there are people that will say, well, we have a sanctuary city. This is a sanctuary. All are welcome, right? But they're completely ignorant to the fact that the notion of sanctuary is Christian in origin. They're completely ignorant of why practically 90% of 90% of hospitals in the Western world are called Saint this and Saint that and have crosses on them and have pictures of saints on them, right? Like sometimes you can take for granted a number of foundations that support the society in which you're in. And people like Dawkins, I think, are starting to get a little bit of a view of that. If you don't believe in Christianity, if you think it's foolish, in reality, that's fine. That's your choice. A proper Christian person would respect your liberalism, would respect your self-liberty, your ability to believe as you want and live your own personal lifestyle, right? But I tell you, my atheist friends, you don't have to be a Christian, but it would really behoove you to keep in mind the benefits of being in a Western world that is culturally Christian, because it is fading away. All right. Like there's going to be plenty of atheists coming to this video to say whatever they want to say, or talk trash, or talk about how stupid it is and all this sort of stuff. You need to understand something. Our faith says that you are free to mock us as you see fit. It's unfortunate. It's offensive. We don't like it. But nevertheless, we're called to typify Christ on the cross and him being mocked by the soldiers. Like you need to understand that you need to see that comparison between those two. Christ being mocked, being mocked on the cross by the soldiers that crucified him, and Christians, modern Western society, letting secular, atheistic, agnostic people mock Jesus Christ. Like there is a reason why you are freely able to talk all the trash about Christianity in the Western world. It's because Christ teaches us to put up with it, to deal with it, to not force you to think as we think, right? Dawkins said that he does not want to live in essentially an Islamic country. He was talking about his concerns with that there's a lack of tolerance. My friends, there is a difference between people disagreeing with you versus people thinking you should taste the sword for mocking their religious belief. One of them allows it. One of them doesn't allow that. One of them allows the mockery all day long. The other one does not. It simply does not. Not the real ones, not the ones where Sharia law is the rule of law. Not like those places would not allow you to speak so negatively about their religious leader. At the end of the day, I have one request, okay? Just one simple request. Consider slowing down. Consider slowing down. For some of you who are militant atheists, basically, consider slowing down your march towards an increasingly secular society. Because a day is certainly coming, if this keeps up, a day is certainly coming where you will long miss the days that the people that annoyed you the most with religious belief were the people like me who tried to share the gospel People like me who say what the Bible says, people like me who would invite you to come to church. Because we're starting to see a culture that's replacing religion, replacing Christianity in the West. It's called wokeness. Like that's what's happening essentially. In pushing for a more secular society, people who inherently chase purpose anyway are going to find some sort of religious belief or ideology to push and guide them. Wokeness is replacing religion in the Western world. That's my point. It's replacing religion in the Western world. Where Christ tells us to love you and pray for you, people that are woke demand you lose your job because you misgendered them. If you think that's bad, just wait for a society that just throws away practically every Christian principle because of secularism. You will not like what results of that. I guarantee you. So at least consider the benefits of being in a society that is religious, particularly Christian, because the no one's shoving anything down your throat. No one is saying if you don't believe this, you're going to DIE, right? Like no one's chasing you around. No one's threatening to behead or anything like that. Okay, like the notion of shoving belief down someone else's throat isn't real, because people are essentially sharing their opinions. You could cut off this video at any moment. People on the side of the street that are street preachers, those kind of people, you can just keep walking. Just keep moving. Like, people are sharing ideas. Some of them are religious. They're not shoving anything down your throat. There'll be people who are watching this video now who will disagree with what I have to say. Can I say that they are shoving their ideas down my throat? No, they're simply sharing their opinions and perspective. That's it. That is it. Just keep that in mind. Keep that in mind, because it's not going to go the way a lot of you think it will. I'm sure if there's an atheist in this video that's watching this video that at least sees what I'm trying to say, let me know in the comments what you think. Guys, this is Cedric with Actual Christianity. A like is really appreciated. A comment is super appreciated. If you think that this video has some merit, consider sharing it as well. And absolutely, please subscribe to the channel also. You guys have a good day. I'll see y'all later.